So we've started the new year with safety and security concerns still top of mind for most Jamaicans. Last year, 2021, saw an increase of almost 10% in the number of murders, ending the year at 1,463, 132 more murders than in the previous year. We also saw very disappointing figures in terms of road traffic fatalities, 482 fatalities in almost as many traffic accidents. This is particularly disappointing because we had the launch of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement branch with much fanfare less than 3 years ago. All these high visibility bikes and vehicles that were seen at all intersections at the time, and yet less than 3 years later, we're having the highest number of fatalities in almost 20 years. On the positive side, in terms of the accusatory crimes, break-ins, etc., we did see some decreases. But what do we need to do looking forward into 2022 so that we don't have another disappointing year? To begin with, we need to follow the data. Look at the parishes and the police divisions where the highest rate of murder took place. If you look at the accompanying charts, what you will see is that St. James, Westmoreland, and Kingston and St. Andrew are going at about 88 murders per 100,000. That is considerably higher than the average for Jamaica. And if we look at parishes like Manchester and St. Elizabeth, on the other hand, they're at about a third of the national average. So we need to focus the attention and the national security forces in the areas where the problem is most intense. The second thing that we need to do is to balance crime control with crime prevention measures. This is what we did in the 2012 to 2015 period when we got much better results in terms of lower numbers of murders during that period with much less resources. You have to look at building the relationships between the police and the communities. You have to use things like positive school-wide behavioral intervention support to train young people how to control their emotions and not respond violently. We need to invest in some of the inner city communities. Social investment will start to change the culture and change the criminogenic environment that encourages high levels of violence. We also need to reinvest in the peace management initiatives, training and deployment of violence interrupters. These are trusted messengers who go into communities and break the cycle of reprisal and counter-reprisal when there's a violent incident. 4 police divisions, Kingston West, Kingston Central, and Kingston East, plus Southern St. Andrew, geographically representing less than 1% of the land area of Jamaica, generate about a third of all the murders and shootings. These areas are ripe to be declared zones of special operations. The ZOSO Act was supported by both government and opposition. It is bipartisan and it is designed for a medium-term intervention in these strife-torn communities. We encourage the government to utilize this specific legislation, which is not breaching the constitutional rights of Jamaicans as a state of emergency does, and to use it to make permanent change in these violence-torn communities. So for 2022, let's work together to make Jamaica a safer place. Safer from COVID, safer from violent crime. I believe this can be achieved through a broad-based partnership: government, opposition, church, and civil society.